All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and today I wanted to do a video about bodybuilders that got a little bit too thick in the off-season. In the era of social media, nowadays a lot of people, especially pro bodybuilders and fitness models and influencers of that nature, like to only put forth their best photos. It might look like they never gain any weight or have an off-season at all. They always look perfect in all of their photos. So for all of my bulking bros watching this, I wanted to show you guys some elite level IFBB pros that got a little bit sloppy in the off-season. Now I wanted to start out here with one of my favorite pro bodybuilders of all time, and that is Lee Priest. Lee Priest truly is one of the best to ever do it, standing 5'4" tall, and in contest condition his weight ranged from about 200 to 230 pounds, mostly around 225. Now, in the off-season, again, this is at a height of 5'4" tall, and he was known to eat. I mean, Lee Priest was known to like his fast food, his KFC, his McDonald's. He would get up to between 270 and 285 reportedly in the off-season. And again, this is at a height of 5'4" tall. Now, to be fair, obviously he's an elite-level pro bodybuilder. He had a lot of muscle, so a typical BMI measurement wouldn't really apply to him. But if you put the height of 5'4" and the weight of 280 pounds in a BMI calculator, that would put your BMI at 48.1% in the obese category for adults. But again, Lee Priest was one of the bodybuilders that was notorious for getting big in the offseason, but also he was notorious for being insanely shredded in contest conditions. So make no mistake about it, he was able to do things like this and eat like that in the offseason, because when it came time to compete, as you guys know, Lee Priest was one of the best to ever do it. He had some of the best arms in bodybuilding history. His contest record is pretty good. He's won some Ironmans. He's had some top 6s at the Olympia. He's had some top 4s at the Arnold Classic. These are the stats of an elite level bodybuilder in the offseason. So if you're feeling a little bit chunky right now and you're bulking, don't sweat it, because Lee Priest would get up to a 48% BMI for a regular person in the offseason. Shout out to Lee Priest if you're watching this, by the way. You're my hero for that. Now, next up we have Jay Cutler. You guys all know Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr. Olympia, 3-time Arnold Classic champion. He's going to go down in the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame. He's an absolute legend. In season contest condition, he weighed roughly 260 pounds at his peak. As you guys can see in this video here from the 2009 Mr. Olympia, he had no problems with conditioning when it came to competing. He had some of the craziest conditioning in bodybuilding history, in my opinion, at that 2009 Mr. Olympia. He was a world beater. He was amazing. I'm sure you guys have seen some photos of Jay in the offseason where he's maybe got a puffy face, or maybe he looks a little bit puffier than usual. And reportedly, he would get up to roughly 290 pounds in the offseason. He would push 300. But this photo right here is the absolute climax of the offseason that I've seen for Jay Cutler. So again, if you're bulking right now, take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and look at this photo of Jay Cutler and how he transformed himself into Mr. Olympia shape. And just think, it's not too late. But now next up, let's talk about one of the guys that I think is one of the biggest freaks to ever compete on a bodybuilding stage. Marcus Rule, standing 5'10" tall with a contest weight of roughly 280 pounds. Some reports 285, close to 290 on stage. But these are just reports. He was probably 280 on stage. But this guy Marcus, man, he was a freak. Marcus Rule was one of the best to ever do it. I can remember watching early videos of Marcus in 2009, prepping for the New York Pro, looking at him train biceps and thinking, this guy is the biggest bodybuilder I've ever seen in my life. His off-season arm measurement was reportedly 24 to 25 inches, which is 61 centimeters. His highest reported off-season weight that I've seen is about 330 pounds. Some say 326, but I would believe 330. But don't get it twisted. When we talk about 280 plus pounds on stage, Marcus Rule, there were times where he didn't come in with the best conditioning, but Marcus Rule in 2002, at the Night of Champions, was one of the freakiest bodybuilders to ever compete in a bodybuilding show. I challenge you guys right now in the comment section, find me a bodybuilder that looked freakier than Marcus Rule looked in 2002. He had conditioning, he was diced to the bone. He was shredded, and he was 280 plus at that New York Pro. He was insanely big, and that was one of the, well, back then it was called the Night of Champions. It's now called the New York Pro, and he won that show, and that would end up being one of his only pro victories besides the 2000 Toronto Pro. But that 2000 Night of Champions, that was the freakiest bodybuilder I think I'd ever seen in my life, and still to this day, if you watch this video, it's off the charts. But Marcus Rule in the offseason, bro, this guy was insane. Reportedly, he ate roughly 7,000 calories a day, and there's multiple videos of Marcus Rule not only eating a crap load of food, but like chain smoking cigarettes in the offseason. Not the healthiest offseason lifestyle by any stretch of the imagination. And definitely if you go back and look at off-season videos and pictures of Marcus Rule, it certainly wasn't the prettiest physique you've ever seen. He still looked like a mountain of muscle, but his midsection was blown out. His face was always very red and very puffy. He was always sweating profusely. Did not look the healthiest, certainly didn't practice the healthiest lifestyle. Dude, he was the biggest bodybuilder of that era. And he was really out here smoking cigs at his biggest and eating 7,000 calories plus a day. So some of you guys might argue with this, and you guys might prefer a Big Ramy physique, but I still think Marcus Rule, he was the original Big Ramy. And in my mind, again, 2002 Marcus Rule, it doesn't get much freakier than that. Now, next up, I want to talk about Johnny O. Jackson here. Johnny O. Jackson, not only a prolific professional bodybuilder, but also quite the accomplished power lifter. His contest weight was about 255. His off-season weight reportedly 275. But in the off-season, he did seem to gain a significant amount of weight, and primarily the reason for that was to maintain strength while powerlifting. Now, his squat, his best squat ever was apparently an 825-pound squat with a squat suit. His best bench press was roughly 600 pounds with a bench suit. His deadlift was 832 pounds raw in a meet, and a deadlift-only meet. And reportedly, since we've been talking about the strict curl so much lately, his best barbell curl was 225 for 8 reps. So pretty impressive. Now in the offseason, obviously, he got a little bit bigger, and he was kind of known for his transformations to the offseason to the bodybuilding stage, because obviously on the bodybuilding stage, his conditioning was insane. And arguably, he had one of the best backs in bodybuilding history. His back was insane, but unfortunately, his legs never really seemed to catch up. Now, during his pro career, he won a handful of shows. He won the 2006 Montreal Pro, the 2007 Atlantic City Pro. I'm trying to think of some other ones. FIBO Power in 2012 was a more recent one. Toronto Pro 2017, and so on. And on stage, like I said, he brings pretty good conditioning. He puts together a pretty tight package on stage, comparatively speaking, to how he looked in the offseason. He's one of the guys that was really known for a crazy offseason to on-season transition. And I wanted to put Johnny in here because of his reason in the offseason. He wasn't shy about the fact that he gained weight in the offseason because he needed to do that to maintain strength, because he was also very invested and very interested in powerlifting. Some of the other guys on this list, they just like to eat. So that's why they got big. Johnny Jackson had a purpose for it. So I wanted to include him in this video because he had kind of a different reasoning for it. Now, let's cap this video off with a recent example. My buddy Sean Roden. Sean Roden has always been known for his amazing ability to transform his physique in both a short amount of time and a long amount of time. He's been known to make these crazy transformations. Specifically, if you guys remember in recent memory, back in 2019, right after he had won the 2018 Mr. Olympia, the famous Pittsburgh Pro, they always do a guest posing where all the top Olympia guys come and do a guest posing at the Pittsburgh Pro. And at that 2019 Pittsburgh Pro, Sean Roden did a guest posing. And he was admittedly very out of shape at that guest posing, and he got a lot of criticism for it. Now, he did acknowledge it in a post afterwards, saying he's always kind of been like this. He's always, taken the time after winning a big show or taking time during the offseason to really go back to just relaxing, slowing things down, maybe cycling off of some things, and just relaxing and giving his physique a break, which I think is a good thing. So unlike some of these other examples, I'm giving you guys a bunch of different examples. You got guys like Marcus Rule, who's smoking and eating 7,000 plus calories and really pushing it to the max in the offseason. Then you've got guys like Sean Roden that might look a little overweight or look a little out of shape in the offseason for a completely different reason. It's not because Sean is pushing it to the extreme and eating a bunch of food and being unhealthy. It's because maybe he's taking a break. He's cycling off of things. He's not training as much. He's letting his body rest. And I also gave you guys the example of Johnny Jackson. He let his physique gain a little weight, get a little water weight for powerlifting to maintain his strength. Everybody has their reasons. So you've got a guy like Sean Roden that was known for getting out of shape in the offseason that literally won the 2018 Mr. Olympia because his conditioning was so good and so much better than Phil's and better than everyone else. And he was able to make that crazy transformation. So I wanted to make this video to show you guys, number one, the crazy transformation that some of these bodybuilders go through. And number two, to highlight some of the different reasons that they go through these transformations. And three, to show you guys that not everybody's perfect. Everything you see on social media, not everybody looks insane all the time. Not everybody is ripped all the time. These guys take time to give it a rest, to bulk, to put on size. Maybe not diet. These guys are not shredded year-round, and these are top-level bodybuilders. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think I missed anybody in this lineup? This was 5 guys right here. So name some names in the comment section below who you guys think had some crazy transformations or crazy big off-seasons. Let me know. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hell, give it 2 thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and you have not subscribed already. Please subscribe. And as always, Nick Strength and Power, signing out.